Hello, this is Rachel from The Healthy Womb. It's September 2015 and this is PCOS Awareness Month. Now, I'm doing lots of things online to celebrate a whole number of awareness months that are happening over the next few months, such as period pain. And there's also Fertility Awareness Month, there's Endometrial Cancer Awareness Month, there's a whole load of awareness months. But it's PCOS Awareness Month, and I am a sufferer of PCOS, and I wanted to share with you my story in the hopes that it gives you a bit of a glimmer to know that you can deal with PCOS. So, first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what PCOS is. It stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. It is essentially a hormonal condition. So what happens is women who have this are super sensitive to sugars that they consume. So their body produces a lot of insulin in response to a tiny amount of sugar consumed compared to someone who doesn't have any kind of insulin resistance. So eventually the body starts overproducing insulin because it becomes desensitized, so it needs to produce more to have the same effect. This has a bit of a knock-on effect because when you have too much insulin in your body, it stimulates your ovaries to produce testosterone, and the effects of this is more masculine traits such as facial hair, receding hairline and acne, but also you have a lot of excess hormones in your body, so this can result in acne. Other symptoms of PCOS include anxiety, depression, mood swings, and IBS issues. So I'm going to take you back to when I was in my early teens and I just started secondary school, and I had terrible period pains. I had really heavy periods, to the extent that I would have a night pad and 2 tampons in and still need to change every half an hour, if not more frequently. The pain was so bad that I would sometimes faint. The bleeds themselves would last anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks at a time. As you can imagine, I was exhausted and I was anemic for long periods of time as well. I was overweight. I had terrible acne, really awful acne. And between that and wearing the big glasses that are now really fashionable that sort of cover that much of your face, which my optician insisted that I had those massive glasses. I had hearing aids because I mostly got very significant hearing loss, so I've got very little hearing left. So as you can imagine, I was just the target of bullying. So that's how I went through my teenage years. This didn't change much as an adult. I was put on the pill. When the first pill didn't work, I was put on another one. That would work fine for about 5 to 10 years. I was then put on another pill. Eventually I was put on the Mirena coil, which is one that contains hormones. Then that caused constant bleeding, just wouldn't stop, and I was in absolutely extreme pain. I've never had anything like it. They switched to Implanon, which is the implant in the arm. My weight ballooned. I literally put on 3 stone in 1 month, despite being told that that was impossible. And then I had to pay privately to get that taken out because they said I needed to keep it in for at least a year because it costs the NHS so much to keep it in. Then I was put on some other pills again, including the original one, which was Dianet, and then Yasmin, which was supposed to help PCOS specifically, but I ended up losing a lot of hair on Yasmin. I then ended up on norethindrone, got migraines, and then I was put on another 2 or 3 pills, and then progesterone only eventually. And my BMI was about 33. I was very heavy. I was a UK clothes size 22. My acne was still terrible. My overall health was awful. I had terrible asthma. I kept being hospitalised for pneumonia. I ended up needing surgery for other things as well. It wasn't good. I was in a terrible place. Um, and not at any point had anyone said to me, you don't have to take the pill, or that the pill actually just masks the symptoms but it doesn't fix the issue. I was told it would fix the issues I was having. Um, I eventually read a bit about nutrition and asked to see an NHS dietitian. I got the referral, and she actually told me to eat more dairy, more bread, because she said I was missing whole grains in my diet, and to eat more low fat foods. As you can imagine, my symptoms got worse, not better. And in the end, I was in a really sort of bad place health wise. I was unhappy with other aspects of my life. Um, I just kind of decided to really take charge and started doing a whole load of research. I had a few friends who were holistic nutritionists who, again, told me about the food hormone connection. I had a therapy background myself, so I did understand the science of how the body works. So I ended up studying nutrition as a diploma in its own right, and then eventually started reading up more on biochemistry and specifically how hormones come into play with different foods. So I spent quite a lot of money on this studying, but I put it into practice, and I really, really struggled at first actually. I had cravings, which I found really difficult to ignore. I love my chocolate, which was one of the banned things. I love dairy, such as cheese. Um, and to me, the perfect meal would be some really, really good quality cheese with crackers and red wine. So I was told I couldn't even do any of that. And I really struggled, and I ended up trying hypnotherapy and coaching and things like that. And, I'd read some really good books on diet for PCOS, but it was just really difficult to integrate it into my life. So I ended up getting some health coaching, which really, really helped me. But anyway, during the 6 months, I went really hard onto this diet, and I was so strict. It took me about 2 months to eliminate everything that I needed to eliminate and integrate more vegetables and learn how to cook vegetables in a way that was yummy and tasty. And then 6 months of the really strict diet. And in that time, I lost 5 stone. My asthma disappeared, which was wonderful because I came off the long-term steroids at that point. Um, my skin cleared up for the first time in goodness knows how long. My periods regulated themselves. They were a nice regular flow. They became bright red rather than sort of dark icky stuff, which I now know is estrogen dominance. I no longer have period pain. In fact, even though I chart my cycle, it's still a bit of a surprise when my period arrives because I don't have any pain or PMS beforehand. I have to say though, I do a lot of self massage because I'm trained in fertility massage. So I did do a lot of self massage every day, which would also help with the period pain. But all my other symptoms have gone. And whenever I eat naughty foods, I put on the weight, or I get bloating, or I get mood swings. So I know that for me, the key is nutrition. So I just wanted to share my story with you because I was really at the extreme end, and I was miserable, and I was being bullied, and I just generally found everything really hard. And I'm in a really, really, really great place now. So I wanted to share my story with you because I wanted to let you know that I'm not saying don't ever go to a doctor. You do need to go to doctors and get diagnoses. And I told my doctor what diet I was going on, and she supervised me and she had me charting my blood sugars. And she was a really great doctor. But if you feel that you're not being listened to, or that you're just being put on more medications, find a doctor that you feel is listening to you and wants to help you get better and get through your symptoms. But nutrition has such a huge part to play. And one thing that I'm constantly asked about is, can I tell people what to do? And every time I say, elimination diet, get rid of soy, dairy, processed sugars, and gluten, and introduce more leafy vegetables. And I know that people that have actually done this and it works for them too. And loads of people that say that, you know, they're struggling, and can I tell them the secret? There isn't any secret really. That's the basic level. Um, if you are continuing to struggle, I ended up training as a health coach, so I now know which areas, if you have certain cravings, what foods can help with that. But do see someone who's qualified in that area to help support you. But you can do it. There is so much you can do to change your story and to change um, your life. So you're no longer the victim, you're no longer having things happening to you, you're no longer being referred from one person to another person to another person with no real answers, or answers that only last for a year. You can truly become the heroine of your own story and change your life and your story for the better. I know a number of other PCOS women who have um, had the same experience and will tell you pretty much the same thing. So there is a lot you can do. Honestly, doing that, the nutritional changes I just mentioned, the cutting out the inflammatory foods, and for some people there are other inflammatory foods that you have to take out too, but that's the very basic level. And adding in plenty of vegetables makes such a huge, huge difference. So if you're struggling with PCOS, I want to let you know that I do hear your pain, I've felt your pain. There is so much that you can do. Whether you come to me or you go to someone else, there is a lot that you can do nutritionally, and there is a lot that you can do for other symptoms too. And I just want to say I'm sending you lots